Have you ever walked into a room and immediately sensed the tension no one else noticed? Or known someone was upset before they said a single word? Or felt exhausted, not from doing too much, but from thinking too much? If yes, this video is for you. And if you find yourself saying, "That's literally me," every 10 seconds, well, that's exactly the kind of thing an overly aware person would do. Psychologists call it hypervigilance, a state of being acutely tuned in to your environment, to other people's emotions, to subtle cues most people completely miss. It exists on a spectrum. On one end, you're just perceptive. On the other, you're so aware of everything that existing in the world feels genuinely loud. These people notice the slight shift in someone's tone. They pick up on micro-expressions. They replay conversations for days. They already know how something will end before it starts, and they're usually right. That sounds like a gift. But here's what no one talks about. Awareness without control is its own kind of prison. This kind of awareness rarely comes from nowhere. For many people, it was learned as a survival strategy. Children who grew up in unpredictable homes, emotionally volatile parents, instability, unspoken tension, often developed the ability to read the room because reading the room kept them safe. Their nervous system got wired to scan constantly, always watching, always waiting. Research in attachment theory and childhood trauma confirms this. The brain learns, if I can predict the threat, I can survive it. So it never stops predicting, even decades later, even when there is no threat. For others, it's rooted in high sensitivity, a neurological trait that about 15 to 20% of the population has. Their brains simply process sensory and emotional input more deeply than average. Let's talk about what this actually feels like from the inside. Overly aware people are often exhausted in ways they can't explain. They've processed 1,000 emotional data points before lunch. They've noticed the look you gave someone across the table. They've already considered 5 possible meanings of your text message. And they've done this all while appearing completely calm on the outside. There's also a painful loneliness in it. When you see things others don't, you often can't talk about what you see. You become the person who overthinks, who's too sensitive, who reads too much into things. So you learn to stay quiet. You shrink the part of yourself that knows too much. And over time, that shrinking takes a toll. Then there's the decision paralysis. Because when you're aware of every angle of a situation, choosing one path feels like betraying all the others. Simple decisions, what to say, who to trust, how to respond, can feel like disarming a bomb. Now here's the part that matters. This awareness, when understood and managed, is one of the most powerful human qualities there is. These are the people who make the best therapists, writers, leaders, and friends. They are deeply empathetic. They catch problems early. They understand nuance in a world that prefers black and white. Studies on emotional intelligence show that people with high perceptual awareness are significantly better at navigating complex social situations, resolving conflict, and building trust. The very thing that costs them in private is what makes them exceptional in service of others. If you recognize yourself in this, here's something important. Your awareness is not the problem. The problem is the belief that you must act on everything you notice. You can see something and let it exist without fixing it. You can feel something without becoming it. Awareness is the input. You still get to choose the output. For overly aware people, the real work is learning to regulate, not suppress. Practices like grounding, mindfulness, and somatic therapy have shown real results. Not because they dull the awareness, but because they create space between the signal and the response. And if you love someone like this, give them space without abandonment. Don't tell them they're overreacting. What looks like drama to you is data to them. Validate first. That alone changes everything. Awareness is not a flaw. It is a frequency. The world is louder for some people, not because they're weak, but because they're tuned differently. Learning to live inside that frequency, instead of fighting it, is one of the most profound forms of self-understanding a person can reach. If this resonated with you, drop a comment. Share it with someone who notices everything. And subscribe, because there's more of this kind of content coming every week.